What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. Today, I wanted to break down and showcase one of the most insanely overpowered Warlock builds that I have tried with the Edge of Fate. I'm talking this thing outperforms Starfire Protocol. One grenade can do more damage than a Celestial Nighthawk Golden Gun, and it has an insanely fun gameplay loop. So today's video, we're going to break down this build from start to finish, showcase it in -30 Grandmaster content, and at the end, we're going to show you what it looks like in regular solo dungeon content, how well it has the ability to survive, but the insane damage output that it can do. So without further ado, let's get into it. This build is utterly insane. I thought after playing Warlock on Starfire Protocol that I found one of the best Warlock builds, and boy was I wrong, because this thing does tremendous damage. We'll show you a clip real fast of what it can do in terms of DPS here at the shooting range, but let's break this build down and show you from start to finish how we put this together, and then take it into some Grandmaster in-game content and show you how it can actually play and what the gameplay loop actually looks like. So to break this build down, of course, we are on Solar Warlock with the exotic Verity's Brow. Now, a lot of us know what Verity's Brow is, but if you're those of you that don't, weapon final blows with a damage type matching your grenade grant death thrones, which provide grenade damage bonus as well as grant you grenade energy, just making it have an uptime on your grenade that's extremely high. And while we have death thrones and throw a grenade, nearby allies will also gain increased grenade regeneration for a short time. That begs the question of which grenade do we want to pair for this? Obviously, fusion grenade is great when you're using Starfire Protocol. I will say that solar grenades get the most damage possible out of this. I'm talking more damage from one grenade than a Celestial Nighthawk Golden Gun. It's utterly insane, but for the purpose of it, solar grenade just kind of sits there and doesn't really help out a ton if the target's moving a lot. So I am opting to go with fusion grenade specifically for this build, pairing it with touch of flame so it does explode twice. Still does about 6k damage in the shooting range, which is equivalent to just a normal golden gun on base marksman. And then for the melee, we're going to go with Incinerator Snap. Really, whatever you want to use works best here. I like Incinerator Snap for PvE, but that's my personal preference. Also, Hellion just have that little extra solar buddy, extra scorch, extra damage. It's just a nice little guy to have with you. Super wise, it doesn't necessarily matter what you're doing in terms of just damage output, but for purpose of this build and the rotation we want to be going with is going to be Song of Flame, because that's going to pair extremely well with our damage rotation when we're going up against tankier targets or even the boss and whatever encounter that we're doing. Well would be a good option here too, but as you all know, Bungie did let it know that Well is extremely bugged right now, and it is taking way too much damage. So we are opting to go with Song of Flame for the increased 90% reduction to damage, as well as just the ability to scorch targets with kinetic and solar weapons. For the fragments here, this is what really helps the build shine. First up, we're running Ember of Char. This is going to give our solar ignitions. It spreads scorch to affected targets. Then there's Ember of Searing. So defeating scorched targets will create a fire sprite, and picking up that fire sprite will give us grenade energy back. Then there's Ember of Eruption, so our solar ignitions have an increased area of effect. And lastly is Ember of Mercy. Since we're creating so many fire sprites, picking up that is going to give us restoration on top of feeding back into our grenade. So it's going to get healing, it's going to get grenade energy, so we're going to have a constant uptime, and we don't really have to worry about survivability with that build whatsoever. Now, for the rest of just the base loadout, we are going with a perfect paradox with Trench Barrel. Some of you might say, why not 1-2 punch? In my testing, with this damage loadout, Trench Barrel is the way to go. It is just actually insane how much damage this paired with the melee from Song of Flame does. So after a successful melee hit, this weapon will gain increased damage handling reload speed for a short duration, but the best part about it, it has cast no shadows, so dealing melee damage increases its handling, but it also reloads the weapon from reserves, meaning during our damage rotation, we don't have to worry about reloading whatsoever. Now, we want to be going with solar weapons specifically to create death thrones for our grenade, so we are going with a Yeartide Apex, one of the best rolls that I've ever used on this gun, and I know a lot of people love the classic heal clip Incandescent. This reloads extremely fast, giving you a high uptime on your health back, plus Incandescent just builds into the fragments of our build, plus making enemies go boom is just a ton of fun. Tossing on Temporal Blast just to added damage to it when we get those stacks up to 5. Now, for our main bread and butter exotic, we are going with Parasite, and there is a reason for this. One, we don't really have weapons that can stun champions, though our grenade at high stacks of death thrones can one-shot pretty much barriers as well as overloads. It struggles with unstoppables just because it has to stun them to do the most damage. Where Parasite comes in is when you have it at full stacks of Worm's Hunger, it increases the size and damage of the explosion. At 20 stacks, it can just destroy pretty much every single target you're going up against. It will one-shot every single champion. You don't have to worry about it, even if you are under-leveled. Now, for the rest of the build, the mods, we are opting to go with a full Solstice set. This is going to give us healing on kills. So if we have a 4-piece set, which I highly recommend, Rapid Solar Final Blows heal you. It's just going to give you an added uptime on just health regen, and you're not going to have to worry about survivability whatsoever. Now, we want to be going with as much grenade as we possibly can. So we are going with 200 grenade stat, and that's going to give us a 65% damage increase just from our base grenade alone. On top of the death thrones, this grenade just becomes basically a tiny solar nova bomb, and it will just chunk health off of everything you hit it with. Now, for the mods that we're going with, obviously grenade mods on every armor slot, so we have as much grenade as we can. Don't worry if you can't get up to 200 because you can always toss on font mods as well. We're going with a harmonic siphon, so we create orbs on solar kills, then a strand as well as another harmonic siphon. If you're using Mint Retrograde, it's another really good option here if you don't want to use a shotgun. It's a good option just to have strand solar dual, so you create orbs on both. Now, there's also a super font mod just so our super gets over 100. If I was going to swap this out, honestly, I'd probably put Dynamo on. If you're not using a strand weapon and you are going with a kinetic weapon like we are. Then for the gauntlets, again, we're tossing on a melee font just to give us added melee damage. Fastball so that we can throw those grenades further and farther. Then firepower, so this will increase our, it will give us an orb of power on grenade kills. You can also swap off melee font for another firepower mod, just giving you added uptime on orb gen. Reducing the cooldown of that as well is really helpful. Then of course, your chest piece, we want to be going with resistance mods to match the activity that you're doing, and I tossed on a concussive dampener as well, just splash damage is annoying. For the legs, we are going with a solar surge mod. This will benefit our Yeartide for our submachine gun, as well as boost our parasite damage. Then a kinetic weapon surge, so this is going to help our perfect paradox. You could easily swap that out for something else because the perfect paradox is really only there for boss damage at the end of the day. And then better already to get health every time we pick up an orb. If you could swap that out to probably take off a kinetic surge and toss on absolution to reduce all your ability cooldown. Though with this, you're going to be having your ability back so often, I don't think it's actually necessary. Now, the classic Reaper and Powerful Attraction on the bond, so that way we create an orb of power after we use our class ability. Any class ability here is good. I'm using Phoenix Dive for ease of use, though once they do buff Empowering Rift, so you get your ability regen just by standing in it, that's probably what I'm going to go with and switch out for the Phoenix Dive. But for now, it's not there yet, so we're doing Phoenix Dive. And then we're also tossing on Outreach, so it reduces our melee cooldown every time we use our class ability. We're going to have our abilities back extremely often, so really don't have to build too much into any of the other stats. I like having Grenade as high as possible, followed by our Super as well. Now, for the artifact mods that just help this build kind of take it up to the next level, first up is going to be, of course, Radiant Shrapnel. So when we damage scorched targets while we're radiant, it is going to create that solar explosion, just further damaging and scorching targets. Then there's also Shield Crush, so while we have radiant, our grenade will recharge faster as well as deal increased damage. Perfect easy way to get radiant is going to be from Fever and Chill, so rapid precision final blows or just rapid solar kills is going to grant you radiant. And then we always like elemental days when we're playing against champions. As you level up and get into harder content, those champions are going to become more prevalent in that type of content. So stunning a champion is going to generate an elementally charged explosion, which we don't really need to stun champions with this build because our grenade can and will one-shot pretty much everything other than unstoppables. But when we scorch and ignite unstoppables, it is nice just to have that elemental explosion happen. Overload SMG if you want to be running that. Again, it is completely unnecessary. You could also toss on Overload Shotgun if you'd like. The rest of the perks and mods, Flame Fiber and Freeze if you're using a strand weapon. Threaded Blast, if you got strand on. Cauterized Darkness is really good if you're playing with teammates that are running stasis or strand, or if you're using something as slice like a Mint Retrograde. But I highly, highly recommend checking out the Perfect Paradox if you have it. If not, toss on Mint Retrograde and it's a great substitute. So that's pretty much how this build is broken down. It is one of the strongest Warlock builds I have ever used. It is utterly insane and can handle any content you want to do. So what we will do now is take this into a Grandmaster content where we are vastly underleveled and see how well it can perform. Okay, cool. It's not precision takedowns, which is extremely annoying to do. I don't know about you guys, but if I hop into any solo ops and I want to run stuff fast, I don't want to do precision takedowns. I want to be able to just go through and kill everything as fast as possible. Toss on our Hellion, because once it scorches targets, it just creates that fire sprite, which is really, really nice in terms of just fire sprite gen. So we have it from Incandescent. We'll have it from just our grenade also. But Hellion does a great job at the same time of just creating fire sprites for us as often as possible. You get full death throws going into this. Kills the barrier in one shot, which is really nice because we're not running anything with champion mods specifically for barrier. I mean, we could do it if we had a when we have Radiant for like a shotgun or even Parasite, but we're using pretty much our abilities and the machine gun for the majority of any encounter in terms of just adds and chunkier targets. Once we get more into the boss fights, harder stuff, that's really when the Parasite's going to come into play the most, and then the shotgun as well. But if you guys don't want to use a shotgun and you lose out a little bit just in terms of DPS, toss on a Mint Retrograde, easily the second best in slot for this build. Oh, already going to the next room. And don't worry about like the Sky Ops type of stuff, not having long range weapons. When you're running the Hive one like we are today, it's really nice because it has the crystals you have to shoot rather than actually shooting or just capturing the zone like you're playing Control. So we just have to go kill this, which allows us to play a lot more aggressive and use our abilities again as much as we possibly can. Kill the Knight over here. Scorch more targets. More fire sprites mean more grenade energy. Kill that guy. He's a little chunky dude, isn't he? Another fire sprite action. Have our grenade back again, which we'll kill this guy with. And miss our grenade entirely, so... And miss that too, we're doing great. This build's a lot better, I promise you, if you hit your shots and don't miss like I just did. Kill. Oh, that probably will kill him. Another fire sprite for us. Kill those guys for fire sprite action. Grenade on both those. They should both die. Oop. All three of them pretty much got killed from that. Heal clip real fast. Got another ogre over there. We don't have a grenade to take care of him, so we'll go grab... Okay, got another grenade. Dude, he's just accurate, man. Holy cow. Very annoying. One more crystal to destroy, and then we'll go kill the boss. I also don't like this specific boss fight. It is kind of annoying. I didn't reload in time. I threw a grenade instead. Anyways, that was just me playing dumb. Does not change how good this build actually is. The boss fight in this specific one, I'm not the biggest fan of just because it has a 3 damage gate and counter. It just makes it running it a little bit more annoying than it could be. Because it's not hard. Like the boss is really easy to kill, but it's just annoying because I have to do a chunk of his damage, kill multiple crystals, and go again. Like the Confluxes one with the Vex, really, really easy because it only has 2 that you have to worry about. So it's faster, I feel like, at the end of the day. Let's kill that wizard again. Wherever he's at. There he is. And just throwing grenades, getting kills. It's just insane how much this build can actually do. Like the Verity, once they nerf Spirit of Verity on hunters and everything, and it just, I was like, you know, I want to try normal Verity and see how well it can perform on other classes. And I was pleasantly surprised how well this can actually do. Now we're going to get death throw stacks going into this first portion. That way we can just kill the boss really, really fast. Getting rapid kills for health regen. And just destroying everything we can. We'll toss on a little bit of a healing rift. Not healing rift, but a Hellion buddy right there. That stuck him. Nope, it didn't. We missed. Parasite just chunked him, though. And it we had him scorched enough right there to get a kill. Now we have to kill the crystals. And rinse and repeat, basically. Am I missing one? Yep. Okay. Again, it does a chunk of damage. We'll pop our super at the end just to make it go faster. And just go kill these guys real quick. If you guys don't have Parasite and you want to run like a heavy machine gun or even like Xenophage, it would also be a really good option too. Because I know Parasite has kind of an annoying quest. But this thing just kills so fast. I'm not even close to the guy, and he's dead. So there you have it. A full solar build with Verity as our featured exotic. It does an insane amount of damage. I highly recommend giving this a try. And if you have the actual armor from Solstice, it just makes this build so much better. Just constant healing is an insane thing to have. If you guys liked this video, feel free to drop a comment down below letting me know if you're going to check this out, or if you want me to try out a build of your own that you really enjoy. Click our Discord link below, go to the Can You Craft section, and we will feature it in a video as well. But as always, Guardians, thank you so much for coming and watching, and I will catch you in the next one.